You are good to go, Paul, EVP over at Higher Logic. Passing it over to you, my friend.
Fantastic. Well, 58% of marketers say that they saw a boost in customer advocacy after building an online community. So if that stat interests you, then this next 10 minutes is for you. So my name is Paul Schneider. I am the Executive Vice President here at Higher Logic. I've been building communities for 22 years, so I guess I'm off to a good start. I've learned a lot about online communities, and I've certainly learned a lot about building advocacy programs and really what it takes to build a successful advocacy program. Now, if you're not familiar with Higher Logic, we're a leading platform provider of online communities. We have two platforms, actually. We have our Thrive platform. We also have our Vanilla platform, and we power some of the largest brands that are out there, from IBM to 6th Sense to Oracle, TeamViewer, Acer, and we're going to profile one of our customers here today, which is ChurnZero. So as I've been building online communities, people say, well, what does it take to build a successful advocacy program within an online community? And a lot of times when you're building an advocacy program, you have to try and figure out, how do I get that offer, that challenge, that advocacy opportunity into the hands of my customer? Now, some groups will send it out via email, or some might send it out via Slack, or maybe even put it in a newsletter. But the perfect opportunity to get those advocacy opportunities out there are through an online community. And that's why we say that an online community actually activates your advocacy program. Because in an online community, customers are actually getting value from you. And when they get value from you, it's a lot easier for you to be able to ask them to do something. So when we look at online communities, if you're not familiar with how people use online communities, there's usually 2 to 3 different use cases that we see in an online community. The one that most everybody is probably familiar with is customer support. I'm sure all of us have gone out into a forum, gone to a community and asked a question, and you got an answer from another customer, not from the support rep. So your experience was great because you got your question really quick, really easily, but from a value perspective to the company, they actually didn't have to have you go to a support rep, and so it saved them money. The other use case would be customer success. We all want to, it's hard enough to get a customer, and we all want to retain those customers in which we get. So the ability to be able to onboard your customers effectively, the ability to be able to train your customers effectively so that they get product adoption and product use. And we know that when customers are heavily using your product and they're successful with your product, they tend to stay with you. So customer success is a use case. The other is product in ideation. It's great to give customers a voice in regards to different features they'd love to see out there in the system. So the ability for customers to submit features, the ability for them to be able to say, hey, we'd love this feature. Other customers to say, yeah, that's a great feature, but add this, and all those wonderful things bubble up to the top. Because customers are in your community and they're coming back to your community, now we have the ability to be able to drive an advocacy program through the community. And with that, to help me talk about that, I have Maureen Rice. Maureen is head of customer marketing and the community manager at ChurnZero. So Maureen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Paul, thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited for today.
Oh, we can't, you kind of went quiet there. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, now you're back. Okay, great. Well, I thought maybe for the audience.
Wouldn't be a live presentation.
It wouldn't be live if there wasn't a technical issue. That's how it works. I totally agree. Well, maybe you could start off by just telling everybody a little bit about ChurnZero.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, hi everyone in the audience. My name is Maureen Rice. As Paul said, I am ChurnZero's customer marketing manager, and as a result, are one of our few community managers. And ChurnZero is a customer success software platform. I think that's a little bit of a misnomer. I like to call it, my corporate communications team loves me for this, but it's really a post-sale customer management tool. So it's supporting teams who work with customers, whether that's customer success managers, account managers, implementation specialists, onboarding teams, you name it. It brings all of this customer data, including community data, into one place. And we power automation. We have a ton of AI capabilities, health scoring, the list goes on and on. But again, that post-sale customer management tool. So I was a CSM at ChurnZero before moving over to our customer marketing function, and can't imagine living without it. And when I got brought onto the community manager team too, same thing. I couldn't imagine doing what I do, the advocacy efforts, the community management, without having both the community engagement data and also our customer data. So I think that's really the power in our dating story here.
Absolutely. Maybe you could talk just a little bit about the ChurnZero community itself and what you're doing in there.
Yeah, you bet. So we have been longtime partners with Higher Logic. We were actually on the Thrive platform before they had vanilla. So we've been with them for a very long time. And I think I've been managing our community for 2 years and change, but we very early on decided a clear focus for our community. So if you look at ChurnZero's customers, they don't sit in the same industry. They don't have the same kind of products. Teams are shaped differently. They're different sizes, all of these different things. So really the only common denominator between them is that they're subscription-based SaaS businesses. So even when I was a CSM and still to this day, even when we have a community, the question that comes up constantly is, what are people like me doing in ChurnZero? You know, what are the things we're not thinking about? How are customers in this industry doing this, that, or the other? As a CSM, I have a pretty good idea of the lane my customers are in, but that doesn't even scratch the surface with the customers we have. So our community, very, very early on, we decided that it was about building community, right? And allowing our customers to share ideas and best practices, and our CSMs to contribute, and product and support and marketing, all of these different teams to come together and support our customers, and to have our customers support each other too, sharing tips and things.
Fantastic. Well, can you talk a little bit about how you're driving advocacy in the community?
Yeah, absolutely. So to date, one of the most powerful things that we've done is an ambassador program. Early on, we did have to ask for advocates, right? But using community data and our data that we have from our customer management platform, we were able to say, okay, who are our champions based on survey responses, how much they're using the platform. They've done advocacy efforts for us before. And then who's using the community a ton and sharing great stuff, right? And so once we built our first base of ambassadors, we built a separate space for them in the community. So it feels very exclusive, and had some rules and kind of gamification around that, you know, help us welcome new members, make sure posts are getting contributed to, all of that kind of stuff, right? And then the ambassador program blew up. And admittedly, those are some of our most powerful, consistent users in the community. And what we really like about that is it's not ChurnZero led, you know what I mean? It is a truly organic, user-led community, which we really, really love. And so we have a ton of other, you know, gamification badges, of course, community ambassadors, and we push that back into ChurnZero. Guess what? Our product team uses that for things like beta access. We look at those people to be on our customer advisory board because they, you know, like to talk about things and have a lot of great opinions, all of that. So we're able to use so much of not just the gamification and the features within the community, we're able to use that community data to power advocacy efforts outside of the community as well, which I think is really powerful.
Fantastic. Well, you've got some great stats here. And so maybe you can share a little bit about some of the data and insights that you use to demonstrate the business value of the community and the advocate program.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I've got 1 minute left. Hurry. So I think one of the big things about community is oftentimes we community managers operate in a little bit of a silo, right? We're looking at, number of posts, number of comments, that number of active users, right? But I think showing the power and the value of a community is when you're able to tie community engagement to business metrics. Because Higher Logic has such a powerful integration with ChurnZero, we're able to overlay customer data. Things like how often are people submitting support tickets when they're active in the community versus not. People who are active in the community are 67%, they have 67% less support tickets across not just them as users, but across those entire accounts, right? They are better informed. They are using other users to get questions versus bogging down support, right? Our engaged community members have double the platform usage in ChurnZero, right? Both active days, so how often they're in consistently and what they're doing. And our churn scores show that people in the community are 13 times less likely to churn. So big stuff there.